Welcome to Not in a Huff with Jackson Huff, where we interview newsmakers, storytellers, and all-around interesting people. Sit back, relax, unless you're driving, and enjoy the show. Here's Jackson.
Hello. I am Jackson Huff. This is Not in a Huff. Thanks again for joining me. Appreciate it as always. This week, as you see from the title, I am interviewing Zoë Roth, who is most famous, I believe, for being Disaster Girl. She, at the age of 5, became a meme. Way back in the mid-2000s, she is that meme that I'm sure you've seen or used once or twice of, the house on fire and then the girl with kind of a mysterious smile in the right-hand corner. But yeah, it was a pleasure speaking with her. When I set up this podcast, the hope was to speak with people, that were, had a huge, maybe 15 minutes of fame, and then we wonder what happened with them. If you go all the way back to the very first episode, you'll see, that was something that was really interesting to me. So it's really cool to speak with her. Doing amazing things now. She'll talk about that. She was, 5 years old when the picture was taken. Took a few years for it to really blow up. But now she just graduated from UNC. So she is a recent graduate, a recent college graduate, doing some cool things. When this was recorded, a few things hadn't happened yet. So she was in the news very recently because she actually sold the NFT for Disaster Girl, the original picture. Now, this is something, NFTs, I'm not really even very good at trying to explain it. I don't even understand it myself completely. NFT, I think it's non-fungible token, so it's kind of like this, you own the original digital copy, like the original digital stamp copy of, a meme. So, whether it's Disaster Girl or, Neon Cat or Overly Attached Girlfriend, all these things, recently they've been selling for high amounts of money. You can look it up. With this particular one, with Disaster Girl, it's sold for, mid 6 digits. So really happy for her there. We talk about being able to, capitalize on the meme. At this time, it hadn't been sold yet. So do realize that we were talking about whether it was possible to capitalize, and it certainly was. So really happy for her. I don't think that it could have happened to a better person there when it comes to becoming a meme and how grounded she stayed with that, and then now to actually gain something from all these millions and millions of people using her picture for the last 15 years or more. So it was a pleasure speaking with Zoë. I think you'll enjoy this one just to kind of hear the background of how the meme happened, what she's up to now, what it's been like, for her whole, almost her whole life being, a picture that everyone in the world almost knows. She mentioned in this that something I never even thought about, how the whole time she's been on social media, her picture and her face has been on social media being passed around. So just an interesting concept there. Without further ado, here is my interview with Zoë Roth. I have Zoë Roth joining me today. How are you, Zoë?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So generally, the way these things go is, I ask, tell me a little bit about, growing up, and then we get to what's happening now. But we're going to kind of go backwards this time because a lot of your story happened when you were growing up, when you were much younger. So tell us a little bit about Zoë Roth now. I believe, are you 20 or 21, something like that?
Yeah, I'm 21 and I'm a senior at UNC Chapel Hill. I'm about to graduate. I'm studying international relations and Chinese right now.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. So what I guess what's the plan with international relations?
Well, I'm planning on going to grad school in Belgium in a year, but I think I'm going to take a year off right now to like travel because I did finish college in 3 years. So now I feel like I have this extra year that's like perfect for traveling. Like in your 20s, I feel like there's no time better than your 20s to just like pick up and go do all the things you want to do. So I don't know what exactly I'm going to be doing, but I just want to get out of North Carolina.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Have you been to Belgium before?
I have not been to Belgium before.
Yeah. So what makes you want to go there? I have been to Belgium. It's a really cool place.
Well, there's a university there that has this really cool master's program that I'm interested in, and it's only a year. So that's like perfect for me. It's just 1 year master's program in Belgium. It's like a win-win.
Cool. So I guess kind of on a note, just to show my incompetence, and when we were corresponding, I have no idea how on a phone I can do it just fine, but I have no idea how to make an E with that umlaut on it. I looked it up. I just copied and pasted every time I could find that E and just put it in your. How do you make it happen on a computer?
I honestly do not make it ever happen on a computer if I ever
You
need to.
don't?
Yeah. No, like I only am Zoe with the two dots and the E if I'm texting from my phone.
Really? Well, I think there is a way. I read that there is a way, but I don't know how to make it happen. So,
Me either.
oh, I thought you were gonna have the insight for me, but now I don't feel quite as dumb because I was thinking
No worries.
there's got to be a way. I don't really understand that, but okay. So, your Instagram bio, it states, your bio says it's a long story, so let's kind of get into that story. Why we have you here today. There's cool things to be said about going to Belgium and things like that, but there is more of a story to you, and it's that when you were much younger, I think 5 years old, there was a picture taken that kind of I guess got spread. So tell us just a little bit about that picture, given that we are on a podcast, a lot of people won't be able to see. Kind of describe that, and then kind of what happened from there.
Yeah, so in January of 2005, my family, it's the four of us, my parents and my brother, we live in Mebane, which is a small town in North Carolina, and we hear all these fire trucks, which is like normal because there's a fire station like 2 blocks down from us, but they're all super close. They're like, okay, this is weird. We go out to our front yard and we look over and there's all this billowing smoke happening like maybe 2 blocks away. So we're like, okay, well, if we can see it, we can just go walk over and see what's going on. So we walk over and my dad has some pictures of me and my brother like running down the street and the fires like coming up. They're crazy pictures because he took so many crazy pictures that day. And so what had happened was the people whose house it was had donated their land to be cleared by the fire department. So it was like a test drill for the fire department and the people, it was like a win-win. They get their land cleared and the fire department gets to practice. So while we were there, they weren't really trying to put the fire out. It was super like chill. Like all these kids were like holding the fire hoses. And at the time I remember looking into the windows because I didn't know that it was like a test drill till much later. But I was like, I was looking at all their stuff like burning in the windows. And I was like, are they okay? Like, did they get all the stuff they needed out of there? Like, what's going on? But my dad still had his camera. So he's like, okay, Zoe, like smile. And so he takes a picture of me and I'm in the bottom corner of the frame. And behind me is this house that's on fire. And that's the meme.
That's the meme. And then I guess it's kind of, I don't know how the title got there, but the title, that meme was Disaster Girl. So how do you feel about, first, how did that title come about? Do you know? And how do you feel, I guess, given that was the title that you forever became Disaster Girl?
I think in the early stages of the meme, people would crop my face and put something else behind me at disasters. So there's like the Hindenburg blowing up, and there's like one time somebody photoshopped me onto Hitler, which I didn't like at all because I was like 8 and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is pretty awful. But basically it was just that you would put my face in the corner and then you'd put a disaster behind me. So I think that's why it was called Disaster Girl. And then after that, I mean, now, like, I feel like if I told somebody I'm the Disaster Girl meme, they'd be like, what? I'm like, oh, I'm the meme with the fire, the little girl, the fire behind me. They're like, oh, I know that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did it get from, your dad's camera to, I guess, everyone's screen?
That is the question we always ask. I know he posted it on Flickr and Zoomer, which were both photo sharing websites at the time. And we think that it got popular because he posted it to JPEG magazine. He entered it in a contest they were having. And then it won the contest. So they printed it in their magazine. They also posted it online. And at the time, I'm sure they had like a few thousand people reading their website. So I'm sure I always think about this. I'm sure one person was like, oh, this is funny. Like I should make a meme. And they like completely changed the course of my life. Like this one person's like, oh, this is a funny picture. I should like edit something behind it, something disastrous. And then after that, we had no control over it. We are seeing it on Facebook and iFunny. Me and my dad were like, how did this get out? Did you send this to somebody? How is this on Facebook? Like our cousins or like my dad's coworkers would have it up in his cubicle. He's like, that's my daughter. Like, how did you get that? And he's like, oh, I just saw it on like Reddit. I saw it on Facebook and thought it was funny. And we're like, what?
Yeah, yeah. So did your dad, when he took the picture, did he think it was funny, or did he, or not? I guess I don't know whether he saw the humor behind it.
Well, I think it's different because like all the pictures of me from 2005, 2006, I look evil. Like my smile is just like this evil smile. We went back and like looked through the archives and all the pictures. I'm just looking like I'm barely smiling and I look really angry. And so he is like an amateur photographer. So obviously he set up the shot like with the rule of thirds. So he thought it was a good picture. Like, what's the word? Like it checked all the boxes of like what a good picture is. And obviously he's like, this is just how Zoe smiles. But he's like, well, she does definitely look evil. Like, I'll post it on the internet. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. So I guess, you said all those pictures then. So did you grow out of that, or do you still have, the mischievous smile?
I don't think my smile is mischievous, but obviously when I smile, it's the same. I'm still me. So I still look the same. People in interviews are always like, oh, do the smile, do the smile. I'm like, ugh.
I am not going to ask you to do that.
Good.
Yeah. So you talked already that it got into a magazine. The thing that I always think is interesting with these memes, a lot of times it's not a instant thing. And I think that was the case with you. Like it was taken, probably forgotten about, and no one really saw it until several years later. Right.
So yeah, my dad took it in 2005 and then it just keeps getting like, so it's like paused. Nothing's happening. He posted to JPEG magazine and we get this magazine and I'm in it. And obviously I bring it to school because I'm in second grade and I'm like bringing this magazine to everybody. I'm like, oh my God, I'm famous. Like people are going to start stopping me in the streets. Like this is the most famous I've ever been. And so that happens. And then it kind of pauses again. And like, people are always like reaching out like, hey, can I have an autograph? Like, can you like sign this, whatever, until like 2016, I think. And then 2016, for some reason, oh, fuck Jerry makes his What Do You Meme game. And so then the meme is like reinvigorated. And like all the like Refinery 29 asks to interview me. And then usually if one person asks for an interview, they do an interview. And then it's like a cascade, like all these other people like read their interview. And like, oh, I could do that too. And so I'm doing like 3 or 4 interviews. And that was the first time anybody had interviewed me. And I was 16. I was like, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm. So how do you, obviously it's a strange way to become famous. How did you, did you enjoy that, or was it not really something? Because obviously, a lot of people, they look back at their childhood and think, oh gosh, I was a dork or something like that. So do you enjoy this? People, I guess, are so focused on your childhood and more so just one particular moment.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I think I'm lucky that I have a good experience with it because I was a kid and I'm not recognized now. Like nobody's ever recognized me. So it's super easy for me to separate my public, like living, day-to-day life from it. I know other people aren't as lucky, like people who are older when they got their memes taken. But generally, I've definitely felt pretty lucky that I've gotten to have a good experience. And it wasn't like I was a kid, so people are always nicer to kids on the internet. And I was just talking to the Success Kid meme. We just started, all the memes just started talking because everybody's talking about NFTs. And so now we're all like talking to each other about like, oh, like what's your story? And it's actually really cool. But I know he like isn't as fond of his meme now. I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'm really grateful that I've always had a positive experience with mine.
Right. Yeah. So when it all started happening, you were in second grade, so still a kid, and, the internet's is a crazy place. You already talked about some of the bad places that it showed up, but what was your family's, initial reaction when it started taking off? Did they think it was cool, or were they a little concerned, or how did they feel?
I always thought it was really cool. My dad thought it was really cool too, because he is like a photographer and he's like, oh, this is just like, people love this because it's such a well-structured photograph. Like he's taking all the credit for it. Like, okay, Dad, but obviously I'm the star of this whole thing.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I'm sure that the picture and the way that it was way that it was posed is probably helps, but I don't know that that's the real reason why people like that picture. So what are some of your favorite, I guess, ways that you've seen it used? Whether it's cropped in something else in the background or words added, do you have any that you particularly like?
I usually like the ones where it's just like there's like little text on me and then little text on the house. So like I know in 2020 it became like super big, pretty relevant again, just because 2020 was like a horrible year for everybody, and like like the house was like 2020, or like the humanity, anything, and me, or I guess the background would just be like humanity like failing, like public health, and then my evil face was like 2020, just because everybody was like 2020 is so bad. Like this is the perfect meme for 2020 because it was like a dumpster fire, like just horrible all the way around.
Right. No, for sure. And then you kind of touched on it earlier too, but some of the memes that you've seen that you don't particularly like, and I guess how have you dealt with that? Because it is kind of a strange thing for somebody to have your picture, have you as a child, and then put it on some very unfortunate things.
Yeah, every time I see something that I don't like, I report it, which I mean, it usually doesn't get taken down because it is like public. I don't know, the internet kind of treats it like its own property, which, it did get on the internet. It's like one of the first memes. So we obviously never had a chance to like pump the brakes. Like it kind of gets to do whatever it wants. And it makes me like uncomfortable, but I'm also like, people know that this isn't like that the girl in the meme is not the one who wrote this or endorses this. Like we're kind of just like free agents, all the memes just to be used by everybody else, which is like frustrating, but I don't know. I don't really care because as long as I've been on social media, it's also been there. So it's not like this new thing where all of a sudden I have to separate myself from this meme like entity, because as long as I've had social media, it's always been there.
Well, yeah, that's something that's interesting to think about. But yeah, I'm sure it has been. I guess what is it? I guess you're probably so used to it, but just flipping through your whatever it is, Instagram or Facebook, then you see it. I mean, is it still kind of a strange thing, or are you almost separated from that person?
I feel like I'm almost separated from it at this point. Like maybe once or twice a week, somebody I'm friends with sends me something and then I like it. And I have this meme like folder on Instagram where I save all the things that people send me in my meme, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Like
Really?
it used to be like really cool. I used to be really excited, but I don't know. I'm still like grateful for it that it's still relevant, obviously. But like in 2020 and 2021, like when I see it now, I'm just like, nice,
Yeah.
cool. I'll add it to the folder.
Right, right. So you talked about being one of the early memes and not really being able to rein it in. That's something I've kind of wondered about. Obviously it's you, it's your father's photography, but did you gain anything from it? Were you able to gain any kind of ownership, or is it really just public domain that it's just cool for you, but you don't get much out of it?
It's pretty much public domain for most of my experience with it. Fuck Jerry ended up using it in his game, so now he has the rights to it for like 5 years. But I mean, most of the things I do are interviews, and then sometimes like I've gotten flown out for interviews. So
Mm-hmm.
I got to go to LA to do an interview with National Geographic, which was really cool because National Geographic is like awesome. Like, what are they talking to me about? What do they need? And it was about the history of the internet. And I was like, that's insane that they think that I'm enough of a part of the history of the internet that they want to fly me out. And I was 18 at the time too. So I was obviously like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like back to my like celebrity status. This is crazy. And then when I was 19, I was working in Shanghai for the summer, and BuzzFeed was doing this internet live thing in New York. And they're like, oh, we'd love to fly you out. I was like, oh, that's awesome. But I'm in Shanghai. Like, there's no way that you guys are going to fly me out. And they're like, oh, yeah, sorry. And then 2 days later, they're like, actually, like, we still want to fly you out. And I was like, okay, if you want to fly me from Shanghai to New York and back in like maybe like 50 hours. It was exhausting, but it was also so much fun.
That is cool. Yeah, and you kind of talked about that in the interview that I saw. But
Mhm.
just kind of going from your regular college life to doing those cool things, that's got to be quite the experience.
Yeah, it definitely is. I almost like always forget about it. Like when I'm doing an assignment or something, I'm doing my homework, I'm in my class and I get either a DM or an email that's like, hey, like an email that you sent me. Hey, like I'm doing a podcast, I'm writing a story like for whoever XYZ. Like I'd love to interview you. I'm like, okay, well, if I finish my Chinese homework and then I write my forum post, then I can do the interview between 2 and 3 before I go to work. Like it's
Yeah.
always I just like slip it into the day, but I have so much other stuff going on too.
So you did also mention a mural in Portugal. I hope to be the hero and find this dang mural. Couldn't find it. Where do you know anything more about that?
I have like some DM correspondence about it because I have a lot of fans that live in Portugal. So obviously, like a lot of people DM me and they're like, "Hey, I'm from Portugal. I'm from Brazil. I'm from whatever." And so I was like, I read them. I read all the DMs that I get. But someone's like, "Hey, I'm from Portugal." I'm like, "Oh, would you happen to know where this like mural is?" I'm like, "There's this mural of me," and this one person's like, "Oh, I don't know where it is, but I figure that it's in this like little town because that's where all like there's so many murals there." And then somebody else DMs me and like, "Hey, I'm the artist of the mural." And I was like, "Okay, send me the address right now." So somewhere in my DMs, I have like the road that it's on, the region that it's in. So I will have to go to Portugal probably when I'm in Belgium. Just pop over because like, how could I not? If there's a mural of my face, like I have to go see it.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, and both of those places are really cool. So you'll
Mhm.
enjoy that. I guess how does it work? Does everyone that you're friends with kind of know about this? Have you ever like I guess kind of dropped it and somebody like what this is crazy? I mean how does that work?
So all the people that I'm friends with now know about it, obviously, like because if you follow me on Instagram, they're like, "Why do you have so many followers?" And then, "Oh, well, have you heard of this meme?" It's the classic. But all my friends, like when I meet somebody, I don't tell them straight up because I'm like, this isn't like the whole of my personality. This doesn't reflect me. Like I didn't do anything to deserve this. I'm not like I think it's cool, obviously, but like I don't think it's not something that I bring up because everybody will find out eventually. And then like
Yeah.
usually like if I'm at a party or something, like because it's my favorite thing to tell somebody for the first time, especially once they already know me. They're like, "Why don't you tell me that already? Like I know all this other stuff. Like why don't you tell me that?" And I was like, I just didn't think it was that important. And
Yeah.
then they end up having the responsibility of like their friends are like, "Oh, aren't you friends with that meme girl? Like, what's that story?" And so then they have to learn the story and tell the story to everybody else
Yeah.
too.
We've already made you tell the story, so we've got it from you. But I guess does it get old having to repeat the story over and over and over, or have you kind of embraced that that's what's made your life interesting?
I think a little bit of both. Recently, like in the last week or two, I've probably done like 5 or 6 interviews. So obviously that's getting like on my phone, I have like a little keyboard shortcut. Someone's like, "So what's the story?" And I type like XYZ and then I get the whole thing because I just got tired of like writing it. I wish I could do that in real life. But obviously, like since I've told it so many times recently, I'm like making it more concise, which is good because
Yeah.
I usually tell it the same way. And then I'm like, maybe I'll like add some more details because it's kind of like robotic. Like I say
Yeah.
the same things, I like go through it the same way. And so every once in a while, I'm like, maybe I should like edit it. Maybe I should like fix it, make it sound more eloquent.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. In my day job, I work in admissions out of college.
Oh,
So I actually, the whole process of helping someone set up their account, that is so second nature to me. Sometimes, I'm 5 minutes into it and I'm realizing I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying. It's just
yeah.
there. It's just
Mhm.
there. So yeah, I know I get that. So, the $1 million question is given that with these memes that it's all somebody with a story that they probably can robotically tell at this point. Do you yourself use memes?
I do use memes. I honestly feel like memes aren't like getting used as much, especially by people my age, like Gen Z, like people like TikTok and they like Twitter, but like memes will always like have a role, because it's so easy. They're just pictures. Like on Twitter, they're still used. And like every once in a while, I see like Chrissy Teigen like used my meme the other day and I'm like, interesting. But like, I feel like I don't use them as much anymore, but they're very cyclical. Like they come and they go and they come and they go. So I'm sure they'll come again.
Yeah. So that was the $1 million question. Now the $1 billion question. Do you ever use your own meme?
I don't. I think that'd be too corny. Like I really
Oh,
do. I love it when my friends use it. Like I have
yeah.
a friend who like used it for class the other day and I was like, I love when people do that, but like I personally I think I did one. I feel like I made one last year, but I honestly don't remember. It's probably related to Corona or something. Oh, well, I actually got coronavirus
Hmm.
in November and I work at a hotel at a restaurant. And so they made me a little meme of like, they made me a meme of my meme when I got back. And it was just me in the corner and the coronavirus particle in the back. And they're like, "Welcome back. Like,
Hmm.
feel better soon." It was so funny.
That is cool. That is cool. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like forever, even if, the meme drops off, which I don't know that it will, it was, you were talking about obviously just even with Corona that we brought it back. And that was years and years ago. But you forever kind of have that cool, you already kind of talked about it. You already have that cool party trick or fun thing. What's one interesting thing about you? I think you're going to beat most people.
Well, people always say that, but I never, like, if we're doing two truths and a lie or like icebreaker, I never use it. I'll always use something else. Like, I don't know. It feels like I know that everyone's like, well, that'd be the coolest thing. Like, I would love it if I was in a room with somebody and they told me that. I don't know. It feels too like braggy or like flexy to me. Like, if I'm friends enough with somebody, like they'll know, I don't feel like I need to insert it into every conversation.
Right. Yeah, no, I get that for sure. No, I get it. So what does, we talked about your future here very soon and going to Brussels, but what does the future hold as a whole? In 20 years when somebody's still asking you for an interview, what are you going to be what do you think you're going to be doing at that point?
I mean, hopefully I wanted to work for the government for a while because I'm doing like national security intelligence things. And so that'd be cool, like foreign service, maybe diplomat, ambassador, because I do speak Chinese and I'm really interested in the relationship between the US and China because I've been studying Chinese my whole life. And I think a lot of people don't really understand China. And like, it's very easy. People would be like, oh, they're taking our jobs. Like they're taking this and that, And I think studying Chinese and Chinese culture has been really like a huge part of my life. And I've gone to China twice, once to study abroad and once to work. So hopefully I'm doing something with China, like analyzing, doing whatever, because I think it's really interesting. So that's the ultimate plan, but I need to get a little bit better at Chinese still. I got to touch up my skills.
That would be cool. I interviewed someone, oh goodness, it's been months ago, but he lives in China. He's a U.S. citizen, lived there during the beginning of COVID and kind of talked about that experience. But China is just a growing place. He says, there's skyscrapers going up literally every single week. There's towns that just 20 years ago were little fishing villages that now are, millions and millions of people. So it's definitely a place on the rise for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how can people connect with you? I know that you talked about an Instagram, so I guess kind of shout out those connection points.
Yeah, I mostly talk to people on Instagram. My Instagram is just my name, Zoë Roth. And then, I don't know, my Twitter and my TikTok are kind of just for like me and my friends. I love talking to people, but like I also have my email, my bio, if everybody wants to email me. But email and Instagram is my main channels of like talking to meme related people.
Absolutely. So Zoë Roth on Instagram, and we're not dealing with the umlauts. It's just with the regular letters, right?
Yes.
Very good. Well, I appreciate your time. I know you've got homework to do. So as someone in higher education, I can tell you, you ought to get your homework done and not keep talking to me.
Well, it's nice talking to you.
Absolutely.
And that was my interview with Zoë Roth. Really enjoyed speaking with her. Just a cool story to hear how someone becomes a meme. I really think that it is kind of just luck and a fluke and just kind of having that picture out at the right time, the right person seeing it. And, some of the best pictures are just between family, and then a few of them somehow just become internationally known. And her picture is absolutely that. She talked about having fans all across the world. So I really appreciate her spending some time with me, just learning a little bit about, we saw a quick snapshot of her at 5 years old, and we've been seeing it for the last 15, 16 years. But to see what she's doing now and how it was growing up, as a meme, kind of a cool experience that a lot of people, I say a lot of people, most people, almost everyone does not have. So cool to hear her insight. Glad she was willing to share it. She's got a lot of really cool things, in the works between graduating and, potentially going to get that master's degree overseas. Just some cool things in her future. Wish her nothing but the best of luck. Do go check her out on her Instagram. And go check us out too. Not Enough Podcast on Instagram. Her Instagram is just her name, Zoë Roth. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Take it away, Chris.
This has been Not in a Huff with Jackson Huff. Thank you for listening. Be sure to join us next time where we will interview another amazing guest who is sure to make you laugh or make you think. Or hey, maybe even both. But until then, keep being awesome.